Hello, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. I'm Luke.
I'm Lizzie.
And this week we're talking about Basic Instinct.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better.
Holy crap, I am back with Lizzy Unpronounceable.
Hi.
Do you ever say Lizzie is in the hizzy?
Only on special occasions.
Yeah, I think maybe you should adopt that as a. Don't you reckon? That's pretty great.
Lizzie is in the hizzy.
In the hizzy.
Only if I can get a busy in there as well.
Ah, Lizzie is
Busy
in the hizzy. Yeah, I think we could maybe allow that.
All right, well, let's start all over again.
Okay.
Do it again.
Hello, and here is Lizzie. Holy crap, I'm here with Lizzie Unpronounceable.
That's right, I'm Lizzie. Getting busy in your hizzy.
Yay! You'd be like the Fonz when you come in and you say your catchphrase and everybody cheers.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, like, all our young listeners, little Courtney Colson's there going, what the fuck is a Fonz?
You know what I was thinking about today? I was thinking what my theme song would be
Yeah.
when I walk into a room.
Yeah.
What would your theme song be?
Oh, God, you're putting me on the spot here.
Yeah, well, what's your first reaction? What's it gonna sound like? Like, it doesn't have to be a real song. Just what's your genre? Maybe.
Oh, look, I think it's got to be like a sort of 60s-y kind of, like action-y, sort of retro, kind of cheesy, varying on, like Austin Powers-y maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
Is it chill, or are you, like, busting into the room?
No, it's pretty chill. It's pretty mellow.
Chill action.
I think of the thing that does spring to mind is like the retro sort of fun credits music at the end of Iron Man 3. Yeah, Can You Dig It? I think it's Can You Dig It? Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yourself?
Well, I started off thinking maybe it would be kind of like a chorus of angels.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But then I thought about it more realistically, and it's probably something much more along the lines of like like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it has gravitas though?
I do. I think it's like sort of, because you're there as well. So it's a sound thing, it's an image thing.
It's the vibe of it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be doing like, like chicken wing kind of things with it. But I reckon if you were like finger
happens.
guns,
Yeah.
something like that would be all right.
A little bit of both, like
Yeah.
finger gun chicken wings.
Do you play it when you enter, or do you sing it when you enter?
No, it just happens.
It just happens.
Magically, that's what
It's-
everybody is feeling.
It's, to
that
bring this
moment.
back to film, it is non-diegetic.
I was thinking leitmotif.
Lovely. Lovely. What's your theme song, listener? Put it in on our Facebook page, and all the best ones we'll think about.
We'll get the applause noise.
In our personal day, we'll get the applause. I will press the applause button. What do you think of this new setup?
This is the first time I've seen this,
Yeah,
and I reckon it looks like semi-professional.
I know. Like, it's like a baby version of a professional thing. If you can imagine a big professional mixing desk, and then imagine it's about 1/10 of the size.
Yeah, like a portable one.
A little baby one, but it has everything we need. We've got a lot of sounds at
It's got
our
a lot of
fingertips.
twiddly bits.
A lot of don't touch those.
I really
They're-
want to touch this,
well,
like especially that button.
definitely don't touch that.
That one's a
button.
red button of that
That
button.
one is powering the microphone with
Oh, okay.
phantom power, if you can believe that.
Phantom power.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
yeah, not a phantom menace, but actual phantom power, like ghost energy going from that to the mic.
Is that legal?
I don't know, actually. I haven't looked at the regulations.
Should look at your power bill. The
Not
next time it
afraid,
comes.
though, for us to have a little bit of a sort of pirate radio station vibe here.
A ghost pirate radio station.
A ghost pirate radio station. Booar!
I'm excited.
Because, especially when we're doing something that's a little bit risque today.
Yeah.
Basic
I
Instinct.
don't know if I'm old enough to do this.
Yeah, this one, I'm going to give everyone a fair warning. This one's really for the adults. So if you're one of our 4 or 5-year-old listeners who has been lured by such wonderful episodes like Garfield or The Smurfs,
Yeah.
maybe this one isn't for you. It gets a little bit racy, and you're actually in a really good situation here, Lizzie, because you haven't seen all of these excerpts from the book yet. So we're going to get your reaction right off the cuff, and I guarantee there are some things in this book that are quite problematic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Did you end up seeing the movie?
I have not seen the film, and I did not read the book. So I am quite anxious that I haven't done my homework
okay.
here.
No, this is good.
And, like, everyone's going to know that I haven't done my... Well, I've told them now.
Well,
but...
I think it's good they know. I think that's even better, because then you're going on this journey as like a first-time reader, so you don't know where this story goes.
No, well, I do a little bit, because I did cheat a little bit. I prepared a tiny bit. I read an article about interpreting Basic Instinct as a commentary on bisexual fear.
Yeah.
And also, I went to a Fringe Festival show that had an excerpt playing, like, projected up on the wall of that scene.
Oh, okay. That was my next question. Like, I knew you hadn't read the book. I knew you hadn't seen the film. I'm wondering if you'd watched the GIF.
I did. I also went onto Tumblr.
Yeah.
And I thought there's going to be some cool stuff on Tumblr, but it was just that retumbled.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get there. It does have a very famous scene, and you can't help thinking of it when you pick up a book and open it up. Reminded me of, I'm surprised I didn't draw like a left leg on the bottom of the left-hand pages and a right leg on the bottom of the right-hand pages. That would have been a little bit of graphic design.
Yeah.
But we will get there. I mean, this is a Paul Verhoeven film, master of exploitation.
And Paul Verhoeven is different from the guy who's on Triple J.
This is
radio
correct.
Station.
This is the Paul
didn't realise that
Verhoeven
until just now.
that did Total Recall,
Yeah.
Showgirls.
I don't know why in my head I thought that was the same person that was on the, Australian youth radio
that had
show.
done Basic Instinct, and then
Yeah.
thought, I'll go and do some Australian youth radio because I've said everything I need to say.
Exactly. Now it's time to talk to the new generation.
Well, the real Paul Verhoeven, his last film was Elle, which Isabel Huppert won the Golden Globe for, which is I haven't seen, but apparently is quite good. And is about like a rape and a kind of revenge thing, I believe.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Probably not my kind of film.
No, so we're certainly mining very similar themes all the time. But look, let's get into this thing. We can't put it off any longer. This is by Richard Osborne, who's the author of, interestingly, if we can believe Goodreads, etc., who link this same Richard Osborne, he's all about philosophy and psychology.
Philosophy for Beginners, Introducing Sociology, Freud for Beginners, and Proverbs for Kids from the book.
From the book. Now, it doesn't say what book that is.
Is it like... I was going to say Jumanji, but that's a game.
It might be this book. It might be Proverbs from
that
this
book.
book, Basic Instinct, by Richard Osborne. I don't know. That's...
Is it full of quotables?
I think so. I think you're going to find that there's a few things that'll be entering the lexicon of Lizzie phrases in the coming days. I think maybe the best thing for you about not watching the film or reading the book is that you didn't have to cosplay today.
Well, I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I'm in a period of my life at the moment where I'm constantly at war with washing machines.
Yes.
And the washing machine story has now progressed so far that I'm now having to ration underpants.
Okay.
So it's not quite a dire situation,
Yes.
but it is, I do have to think, is this necessary
Yeah.
for today?
I'm wearing a robe, so which
But
is
you always wear the
tighty. Well, I am. I'm a bit of a sort of Hugh Hefner of the suburbs. So that is true. This is my own personal grotto, as it were, that we record in. And,
you bring in your book was Better Bunnies.
I do. The book was Better Bunnies. I like that. Yeah, if anyone would like to apply to be a book was Better Bunny and also get that T-shirt on Cafe Press or underwear, which you won't need if you're cosplaying this particular one.
No.
And, I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Probably alluding to the fact that I might uncross and cross my legs significantly at some point in the film.
As long as you tell me when it's happening.
Okay, I will. Oh, you'll know. So, here we go. Basic Instinct. And the little promise here, the little blurb thingy is sex was the foreplay, death was the climax. So, what a bit of foreshadowing. What a setup.
All right.
Here we go. So, let's start at the beginning, the prologue. Let's take turns on this.
Music came from a gleaming CD player near the window in the bedroom, the volume turned low. Beyond the window, the city of San Francisco was waking to a rare, clear morning. There would be no famous San Francisco fog that day.
On the bed, a big brass bed. Big brass bed. Lay Johnny Boz, a man of wealth, definitely, and also a man of taste, but taste good and bad. He liked art and music and casual luxury. His bad tastes were more destructive. Potent drugs, a little bondage, and the wrong women.
I do like casual luxury. Like not intense luxury.
It's an interesting sort of hard-boiled kind of... I know the film was supposed to be seen as like a detective novel, and there's something about that. You'll feel dirty by the end of this, I promise.
Casual luxury, okay.
I mean by the end of this opening.
The woman straddling his bare chest was beautiful.
I meant by the end of that sentence.
Her long blonde hair splashed across her bare shoulders, her perfect breasts falling like ripe fruit above his face, tantalizing, just out of reach of his hungry lips.
I can imagine like a tapir?
Tapir, I think.
A tapir, with their long tongue, sort of just trying to lick that fruit that's just out of reach.
Oh, that's so erotic.
It is. The woman lowered her red mouth to his and kissed him hungrily, her tongue darting. He kissed back, sucking her tongue deep into his mouth. She raised his hands above his head and pinioned them. She pulled a white silk scarf from beneath the pillow and bound his wrists together, then tethered them to the brass headrail. He strained against his bonds, his eyes closed in ecstasy.
She slid down his body and he entered her, sliding deep, her hips grinding down on him. He bucked, thrusting into her, stabbing, piercing profoundly into her body, feeling her full wet weight on him. Man, this is more than Terminator.
Oh, actually, no, it doesn't go as far as Terminator. In fact, you feel like it's going to do that.
Yeah.
But I actually think this book ends up being a little bit coyer.
Oh, really?
Than you would expect.
Because that's a lot right there.
That's a fair bit. But I think what's interesting about that is the sort of, and it's sort of also dirty about that, is this violence and sex mixed together all the time. Like very violent imagery and words about stabbing piercing. And piercing. This isn't a romantic thing.
No.
This isn't, Valentine's Day with your sweetie pie here. This is already pretty grim. And as promised... From that little blurb, Thread delivers, sex leads to death.
There was a slim flash of silver in her hand, a sliver of steel, sharp and deadly. Her right hand dropped fast and cruel, the weapon puncturing his pallid throat, now suddenly washed red with his blood. He convulsed, shot through with the pain of sudden, violent death, and the overwhelming power of orgasm.
Some would call the orgasm the little death.
Yes.
Yeah.
The French would.
Those guys.
Again and again, her arm plunged to his throat, his chest, his lungs. The cream sheets turned red. He died, flowing both body and soul into her. Oh, I just got
that. Yeah. Yeah, his ghost shot out her mouth.
His ghost is powering our microphone right at this moment.
Whoa.
Sexy microphone.
You think about, killers, and you think about the fact that this film had a sequel and that killers have gimmicks and there's always been this relationship between sex and death. And I thought you almost had the opportunity here for a franchise where the killer, instead of killing teens that were having sex, had sex with teens and killed them while having sex. And I wonder if there's ever a reboot of Friday the 13th, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe Jason could take off his hockey mask and he's really one of those Magic Mike kind of guys or something even.
Yeah.
You know, and then he has sex with them and then he murders them. Or the other way around. It could be like a role for Margot Robbie as Jason Voorhees going around sleeping with people and then stabbing them. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Surely there must be porn of that already.
Could do.
Surely.
Could be. Although I know
look for it though.
I know in Australia it would actually be illegal. Like, you're not allowed to have violence, which is why porn in Australia is called non-violent erotica. It's not two things you're supposed to mix.
Right, you have your non-violent erotica and then you have your violence.
Yes.
And keep them separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
this is good tips for our 5-year-old viewers who shouldn't be listening.
No, don't. Look, we told you. Go on, go to your room. So, Chapter 1, and the police turn up to investigate.
An unmarked police car with no chrome, no frills, no nothing, so that it could only have been a police car edged down the street.
No windshield, no wheels. They were Flintstoning out the bottom of it.
La cucaracha on the horn.
It was a cardboard box with police drawn on the side.
And the C is backwards.
Yeah. Michael Douglas has got his arm on the edge, got his elbow hanging out, got his sunglasses on. These two cops are Gus, who is basically just described as tired, and then our hero, Nick Curran, played by Michael Douglas.
Tired because he's having to Flintstone everywhere?
He was the one. Yeah, I think Michael Douglas had his feet up, and Gus was Flintstoning all the way.
He's our hero.
And they had one of those huge racks of ribs on the side, which really weighs you down. His partner, Nick Curran, was younger and harder to figure. He wore a good suit, a garment just a touch too fashionable to make him as cop the minute you laid eyes on him. But there was an edge to him, a street-smart, urban toughness, the slight swagger and confidence of a man who lived his life, day in, day out, with a gun strapped to his chest. Unlike his burned-out partner, for Nick Curran, the game still went on. The rules changed daily. Most of the time, the only rule was there was no rules.
Ugh, I don't like him already.
Oh, you don't like him already. You wait. He is the biggest piece of shit, this character. Like, there is nothing redeemable about Nick Curran. He is a fucking shitbag. And if you hate him now, just wait.
Oh, no.
So, Johnny Boz, the guy that got ice picked at the beginning,
yeah.
He was a rock star. So a whole heap of important people have turned up. Everyone wants to be at this crime scene. So we've got Phil Walker, who's the homicide chief of the SFPD, San Francisco Police Department.
Yep.
Captain Mark Talcott.
Excellent name.
Harrigan and Andrews, they're the homicide guys. And then there's the forensic guys.
The forensics team was unpacking a small piece of electronic equipment. It looked like a vacuum cleaner with a flashlight attached, but a flashlight that shot a thin beam of green light. It was the newest piece of SFPD Razzle Dazzle, a laser scanner that would pick up every trace of human evidence from the room. Fingerprints, blood, hair, skin.
Nothing stops a book in its tracks than a word like razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
Suddenly it's become the sexy thriller that your granddad wrote.
Well, now it's become a musical.
True, yes.
Now it's a sexy murder musical.
Yeah, a lot of spirit fingers
Yeah.
in this scene. And what about that equipment? It felt to me like they were busting ghosts or something, that this was the spectral fumigation and paranormal destruction unit, or the spook fucking police detectives. Or
SFPD.
Something like that, yeah. And I read on IMDb, looking at the trivia, the whole thing was about the movie that although it came out at a time when DNA evidence had been used extensively, there's no DNA used in the film, which would have solved it in about a minute.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, right?
Well, we heard that a lot of it was blown into her and out of her,
Yeah,
etc.
exactly. It's all over the place.
It's hanging off the chandelier.
But see, they were looking for spooky ghost
That's
DNA.
true. Maybe a ghost did this. I think that's the thing. Like, when you go into a room, there's a dead body.
Yeah.
You're looking around for the killer.
Yeah.
There's no killer.
Uh-oh.
So you think, it's an invisible killer.
Yeah.
AKA a ghost.
A ghost.
Yeah, a ghost. So that's what you get all your ghost equipment out.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's a ghost and if he's still hanging around.
Yeah, that's obvious.
Maybe look up at the chandelier. If it's a Slimer, they'll circle around the
they go in
chandelier.
there.
They love it. They go nuts.
But also you have to look in mirrors so that you can see if they're behind you.
That's very true.
Always
And
look in
I
the
would
mirror.
recommend, like, opening the fridge and then quickly closing it to see if they're behind the, like, the fridge door or something like that. Like, just standing
Or just
there.
a normal cupboard.
Yeah.
Anything that opens.
Anything that opens, even a wardrobe, quickly shut it again, look, see if there's, like, a young girl with blood all over her face or something like that.
Stand really close to the bed so that your ankle is in arm's reach.
That's
from
a good
under the bed.
idea. Yeah.
There are lots of tests that they could have done here.
And that's what this equipment's for, to be fair. And the book elaborates on that for about 80 pages. And it's really great. But I was more caught up at the fact that these cops are really fucking sarcastic.
Yeah.
Like, one of them, first thing he says is, like, nice neighborhood for a murder. And then, like, when they're in there and looking at the body, they're like, nice way to start the day. It's like, wow.
I like that they hate their job.
Yeah, what an attitude. How can you get on board with these guys? Also, let's not forget this is a film.
Yeah, okay.
So I want you to imagine a little scenario. You get a minor role in a major motion picture starring Michael Douglas, and you tell all your friends and family about it.
Yeah.
They all turn up as soon as this thing is in the cinema. They all sit down, they're
Well, they love
ready.
me, yeah.
Yep. And it turns out that you are this guy.
The laser picked up something on the bed. Wet spots showing up like dark bruises. There's cum all over the sheets, said the crime scene guy. About a half a gallon of the stuff.
Very impressive, said Nick. You're that guy. You're like, okay, I'm coming up any minute now, and this is me. There's cum all over the sheets, about half a gallon of the stuff.
See, we have very different acting styles, though.
I know. Well, that's
Yeah. See, I was going for an old-timey Jimmy Stewart kind of thing.
yeah. I would. I would be so like nervous being there
Yeah.
next to Michael.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jackson,
Michael Jackson.
who
Course.
uncredited role in this. He moonwalks past in the background,
Spookwalks.
checking for evidence, yeah. And I would be, there's cum all over the sheets. About half a gallon of this stuff. Sorry, Mr. Douglas, I think some of it's mine.
But remember, this is a musical as well, so it's more like, there's cum all over the sheets. Do, 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 do.
Yes. Oh my God. This sounds like a good project for if they were going to do a remake for the guy that just did La La Land.
Yeah.
Damien Chevelle, something like
I'm
that.
out of my depth there.
So Nick and the guys, or maybe it was Nick and Gus.
Nick and Gus?
Might have been a typo here.
Nick and the Gus.
Nick and Gus and the guys, they decide to... No, it's definitely Nick and Gus. Decide to check in on Boz's girlfriend, Catherine, who lives in a different money-smelling mansion.
Money-smelling mansion.
And a maid greets them.
The maid was Chicana, more than likely an illegal immigrant, and she knew the face of authority when she saw it. She did not look happy.
That's
I
the
bet.
great thing about adapting a story from the screen to a book is that you can add descriptive details, you can add the inner thoughts of the characters, and your own casual racism as well.
You've got to have an outlet for it, I guess.
You can editorialize about everybody. So we meet the lady of the house. Of course, every time a female character is introduced in a book was a better book, we need to know if she's hot or not. Is she hot?
Oh, let's see. Standing at the foot of the stairs was a beautiful blonde, her clear blue eyes set wide. Her cheekbones would have been the envy of any fashion model. She wore a black and gold embroidered vest, tight black jeans, and black cowboy boots. She looked like the kind of woman a rock star might require on his arm.
Wouldn't that make playing the guitar really hard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are terrible.
Maybe not if you're just doing power chords.
Oh, that's true.
Bow, bow.
And having this attractive woman on that would give you certainly the courage.
Yeah.
And
give you the power.
strength to do power chords. And she deduces that because these are homicide detectives asking about Boz must be dead.
Score one for the chick, thought Nick Curran.
How you like Nick Curran now?
I don't like him.
Well, look, let's keep it running. On a scale of 1 to 10,
Let's hope he ends up dead.
on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like Nick Curran?
So far he's just a bit of a jerk. So
Yeah.
like
I would leave yourself. I would be conservative. I'd leave yourself room to move.
to move.
Yeah. I thought this was Catherine. This isn't Catherine. This is Roxy.
Who's Roxy?
She's like a friend of Catherine's, so they have to go to a different house.
Okay.
This one by the beach that Catherine also owns.
What does this one smell like?
Money as well.
Oh, good.
Parked in the driveway of the house were 2 Lotus Esprits. One was a mundane black and the other a mundane white.
What?
And coincidentally, one of them was good and one of them was evil. It was a killer Lotus Esprit. And then I thought, oh my God, like, can you imagine that opening scene if Boz had really been, like, fucking a black Lotus Esprit in a blonde wig?
Now I am imagining that. Thank you.
That'd be like Cars 3. The evil eyes on the windshield. Anyway, here is Catherine. Got it. Sharon Stone. This is her character. Okay. Here's her first appearance. Is she hot?
Like Roxy, she was blonde and beautiful. But where Roxy had the looks of a model, Catherine Trammell had less severe, more classical beauty. It was the kind of face that looked out proudly at the world from 18th century portraits. The face of a noblewoman, an aristocrat. And yet, behind that patrician mien, there was a subtle subtext, a smoky sensuousness, a banked fire burning.
I don't think that's that bad. I think that's kind of not a bad description of the character, actually. Like, he didn't just go, oh, she had great tits, which is what they normally do.
Yeah.
He actually sort of gets in there and
You have to like draw upon your knowledge of art history to know she has great tits.
Yeah.
Like old world great tits.
Absolutely. So yeah, a smoky sensuousness, a banked fire burning. I thought it was quite good. And we'd like to make fun of bad writing, but we'll definitely, if you do something interesting, we'll call it out. She doesn't seem too sad about Boz's murder. I wasn't dating him. I was fucking him. Now she was like a little girl, saying forbidden words to shock her elders. Gus was unimpressed. I don't even agree with that's the line reading there. Even if you hadn't seen the film, like, I don't think her saying that is like a little girl trying to shock someone. I don't think she's trying to shock them at all. She holds all the power in this sequence.
Sounds like she's trying to be helpful to the homicide detectives.
She wasn't like going...
She's clarifying it for them.
I wasn't dating him. I was fucking him. Or anything like that.
That's not how it was in the film?
No, I didn't think so. I didn't watch it, but from what I can remember. Because I watched this film for the first time on VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my parents hired it. They'd get the 2 new releases, and then I was like, I'm just going to grab that and watch that afterwards as well. And, expecting it to be a life-changing event, which it's not. No.
Didn't change your life?
No. Although,
what the fuck are we doing this for then?
Well, that's a good question, Lizzie. A question that would have been good about 178 episodes ago.
Let's move on so we don't dwell on that too much.
Yeah, and just when I've had the strength to come back finally. Anyway, Catherine is very belligerent, so Gus and Nick leave. So now we're going to meet the other important woman in this story. This is...
Whoa, 3 women?
Yes.
3 women? Do they all have names?
Yes, this one's Beth Garner, played by, Triplehorn from Waterworld.
Oh, yeah.
And,
whoa, blowing my mind here.
She's the staff psychiatrist to the San Francisco Police Department. Is she hot?
Curran seemed a lot more upset at his being late for the appointment than the doctor did. Beth Garner was an attractive young woman, just 30 years old and 2 years into her job. Nick Curran was an old friend of hers, as a client, and briefly, a lover.
So moderately hot. Hot enough for the time. Here's some thoughts on psychiatry from the author, who may have written those books about psychiatry.
Does this guy have a vested interest?
I think he might have an interesting vest.
Somewhere in the soul of every policeman, there lurked a doubt about psychiatry. Somehow it was unmanly to talk to a shrink. Demeaning.
Men. You don't want to talk about their feelings or what's going on or why they might be dangerous psychopaths.
Wait, but so does he secretly hate psychiatry and psychology? Is that why he wrote all those books?
Yeah, he wrote about how psychiatry is for pussies.
Wow.
Was his book.
I don't remember reading that in first year.
I know. Very demeaning. Look,
reading a different book.
Talking to a shrink is like having one's cock shrunk in a cold swimming pool.
Yeah, okay.
basically, like for most men.
But more expensive.
Yeah.
And you don't have to get down to your little swimmy shorts.
Your little swimmy shorts, that's all right. So Nick is there. He's seeing her because of a past trauma due to what is ominously referred to as the incident.
Is that the prequel?
Yes.
Incident.
Oh, my God.
Basic incident. Christ, the incident. Why the hell don't you call it what it is? The killings. The deaths. The two poor innocent tourist bystanders in their Fisherman Wharf t-shirts who got in the way of the bullets from the barrel of a 9mm automatic that just happened to have been held in the hand of a certain San Francisco PD detective.
Nick, calm down. You're expositioning.
Like a lot. All at once.
It's all over the sheets. There's about half a gallon of it.
Oh no, so he's a bad guy then.
He was a cokehead. And while on cocaine and doing some police stuff, he shot some tourists at Fisherman's Wharf.
But it was the 80s, right?
That's true.
Wasn't everybody on coke?
Have you been to
The
San
80s?
Francisco?
I have been to San Francisco.
So have I. You've been in Fisherman's Wharf?
I believe so.
Hard to imagine, like, this coked up Nick Curran running around there shooting people. Like, I think of the SEALs.
Yeah.
And I bought that Kermit the Frog puppet there at
Aw.
Fisherman's Wharf. So
Yeah,
imagine
quite different.
I could have been there with my Kermit the Frog puppet getting shot at by a coked up Michael Douglas. It's terrifying when you think about it.
I remember everybody being quite high, but, weed high.
Eating crab
Not coke high.
as well.
Eating crab. Yes, I did go to Fisherman's Wharf and it did smell like crab.
You ate some crab. If you could smell crab, that's where you were for sure.
And funnel cakes. They had funnel cakes everywhere. What is a funnel cake? I don't understand. I saw one and I
funnel
don't
it into your body.
understand. Oh, is that what it is?
In one bite. Yeah. Speaking of cakes and food, Nick has a big chip on his shoulder. What a segue. About all of this.
Things are just as fine as they can be when you have a job like mine and the department keeps hauling you in and insinuating that you're as nutty as a fruitcake.
Is that better than being fruity as a nut cake? More like Nick Currant, am I right? I'm going to enjoy how long this clip is. It's so good. Nick was a coke fiend.
Right.
That's why he shot the tourists.
Okay.
Too much caffeine.
Yep.
So the investigation continues, and Boz was a coke fiend as well, apparently.
Because it was the 80s.
That's right.
Yeah, Andrews continued. He inhaled it. There were trace elements on his lip and penis. He inhaled it off his dick? Asked Moran. That's exactly what I thought too.
Yeah.
You and me, Moran. You and me.
That's quite a skill. So we know Boz was double jointed.
Yeah.
So Lizzie, discuss the gender politics of this.
Okay.
There are a couple, all of them groupie types from this club. His girlfriend, his steady, his chick, his woman, his main squeeze. That was this Catherine Trammell. I like this. I often go, I'd like you to meet Suzanne, my girlfriend, my steady, my chick, my woman, my main squeeze for 12 years.
Yeah.
A lot of ownership.
It sure is. Okay, so are these all different positions in his employment scheme?
It's like a hierarchy.
Like you've got girlfriend, you've got steady, you've got chick, you've got woman, you've got main squeeze, and she just happens to fill all of those positions.
Yeah. If you had to pick one of those things, what would you prefer?
I like steady.
You like steady?
Steady.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like main squeeze.
No.
It's not my favorite one. I like boo.
Boo. I like...
Be somebody's boo.
What about bae?
I think I'm too old for bae.
Okay.
Woke bae. I'd be somebody's woke bae.
I'm too old for that. I'm very confused now. We learn more about Catherine's backstory. Her parents are dead. She's worth $110 million. They died in suspicious circumstances.
Oh.
She was engaged to a famous boxer who died. She has a double major in literature and psychology.
Oh.
And she wrote a book which is about...
Walker paused dramatically. It's about a retired rock and roll star who's murdered by his girlfriend.
The laughter stopped. I think I'd better spend a little time with that book, said Nick. So holy crap. The book is called Love Hurts, and the guy in it is murdered with an ice pick.
That's so great.
She didn't waste this major in literature, did she? Shit, so
far, I don't like Nick, and I do like Catherine.
You like how this plot's going.
I like her moxie.
She writes books, and the whole thing is like, are these like alibis written, years before, because I wouldn't be stupid enough to carry out the murder in my book, or what a game she's playing. Also wondered if this was a bit of foreshadowing.
Nick had already checked out the back flap.
Yeah, a little preemptive considering what's coming up. Nick had read the book the night before and wasn't sure what he thought of it. He didn't know or care much about literature, much like the majority of authors on this podcast, I thought. Anyway, the psychologists weigh in on this whole phenomenon.
Normally, that would have been enough. More than enough. Fantasy, even one committed to paper and published, usually suffices for actuality. Normally. But there is nothing normal about this. The crime itself or the copycat aspects of the crime.
Yeah, that reminds me of the time I murdered that lasagna after we read Garfield. Yeah, sometimes
copycat.
The truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
So Nick and Gus, they pick up Catherine and take her to the station for questioning, and Nick watches her change via a mirror and notices that she doesn't put on underwear. So I did wonder if that was going to be important later.
Or if a washing machine's broken.
It could be. She's just battling with the washing machine. Poor thing. And in the car, she reveals that her new book is about a detective who falls for the wrong woman and she kills him.
No.
See, I like this. You don't know this story. And look, how exciting is this already? You're just like, whoa.
I can't wait.
And the interrogation starts. So here we go. Let's see how Richard Osborne handles the most famous scene in the film. But first...
They had heard confessions from hardened, remorseless killers, child abusers, wife beaters, hitmen, and drug dealers, but they were still cops. And cops were mainly middle-class Catholic and conservative. To hear a beautiful, rich, well-brought-up, well-educated woman talk ever so nonchalantly about her sex life was disturbing.
Yeah.
That sounds like a you problem, not a her problem.
Not a characters in this story problem. It's funny, it's like, oh God, please, ladies, stop talking about your vagina. Can't we go back to child abusers and remorseless killers?
Exactly. They love it. They love talking about her having sex. So why are they so down on it? It makes no sense. Anyway, let's go. All right,
here we go.
She parted her legs slightly, revealing even more of her shapely thigh to Nick.
And that is it. That's all we get.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
The most famous scene is not in here.
Do you have a sound on your soundboard for this?
A Rambo scream.
Whoa. Okay.
Well, I mean, according to the trivia, the scene's not in the script, which could be why it's not in the book. It was something that Verhoeven, while shooting, was like, oh, why don't we do this? And of course, did you read about that sort of trivia? There's been arguments and contradictory stories as to what really happened, with her saying that she didn't know it was going to be filmed like that, in him saying, and that, she slapped him when she saw it, and him saying that no, she did know, but then her agent was worried, and then she kicked up a fuss. Well, we may never know the truth. I imagine she's probably telling the truth. But, but... For all the, you saw the GIF, for all the...
I saw the GIF many times.
Famous, talk of this scene. It's... Let's just say if you'd never seen one before, you wouldn't be able to draw a picture of it afterwards.
I did, I saw the GIF and then I had to see the GIF again because you don't actually see that much.
It's kind of like a Bigfoot sighting.
But then when I did see it, I saw it a lot after that.
It's like a Rorschach test. You don't get to see that much, though.
No. What did you see when you looked?
I saw 2 butterflies.
2 butterflies. Oh.
Fucking.
Wow, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And can you imagine, I mean, that's you're watching it with modern technology. Imagine watching this on a rental VHS that everybody has paused.
And the tracking's
and rewound
all gone.
And paused, yeah. So you thought a sudden snowstorm had come on in that point.
Wow.
You didn't know what was going on. I thought she'd slapped him because of the shitty lighting.
I also read that Verhoeven, what's-his-face, put this in because it happened to him. That
Yes.
when he was in college or something,
Yeah.
a lady did it to him to intimidate him.
It's a power play.
Yeah, is it though?
According to this, yeah.
Is it though?
It said in the article that I read that it was done to embarrass him.
Would it though?
No, I don't think embarrassment. Well, I don't know.
Like, I don't. I'm willing to have this explained to me how that would be embarrassing and how it would be a power thing. I don't understand the intention behind this whole scene.
According to, I think it was a Sharon Stone Playboy interview, it's about power. It's about her toying. It's about, oh, you want to see up my skirt? Well, here you go. Have a look at this. How do you like them apples, Matt Damon?
Yeah, I guess. All right.
There's plenty more problematic things for you to wonder why they're here.
Yeah, let's just put a pin in this one and move on.
So I'm downcast about this. I thought, what a great chance to not just get into a character's head, but, what's that thinking? You know, it could have become a character.
Also,
basically.
If it wasn't in the script, in this novelization, this is the time to let your imagination run riot in it. Like, you did all of that talk about the obvious illegal immigrant and her distrust of authority, but
because
here
she's a criminal.
It's just a little bit of thigh.
I would challenge listeners. They never do anything that I challenge them to do because they're belligerent. But if you would like to write that scene, write the prose for the missing scene, you can paste it on our Facebook page.
It seems dangerous.
I'll read it out on a later show.
Maybe you should, if you challenge them to do things and they never do anything, maybe you should not challenge them.
Reverse psychology.
Don't you dare write this scene and send it to Luke so that he can read it again
Don't bring Captain Solo and the Wookiee to me.
Exactly.
Your reverse psychology won't work on me, boy. All right. So she beats a polygraph machine. Nick drives her home. They do a lot of dumb sort of cat-mouse flirting in the car ride. Mm. And then the cops go to the 10-4 bar, and certainly the times they are a-changing.
The looters, the movie stars, Chris Isaac, hip San Francisco rockers, jostled Frank Sinatra and Tony Bennett on the jukebox. There was even a fern.
Yeah, what a chilling vision of the future.
When I started reading that, the looters, the movie stars, I had no idea what they were going on about until Chris Isaac.
Yes, I agree.
Chris Isaac, national treasure.
Beautiful man. The cops begin to wonder now if Catherine killed her boxer fiancé.
Now they're wondering.
Yeah.
Now they're okay.
Maybe she grew herself an afro and learned a left hook that could kill a man and put shoe polish on her face. Let's polygraph her again and ask her about it.
Wait, what?
So police attitudes haven't changed since the 80s.
Hang on, how was he killed? He was stabbed to death.
Yeah. Oh, no, this was the boxer.
Oh, the boxer.
So, yeah, everyone in her
okay.
life has been
Boxster,
killed.
Rockster.
Yes,
Okay.
Boxster, Rockster.
I couldn't tell because of your
Very
accent.
similar. Yes. But, yes, sorry, it's quite thick. All right, now, you hated Nick before.
Yeah.
This is the most problematic scene in the book.
Okay, yeah.
It's a rape.
Cool.
Yes.
All right.
It's interesting because the movie was criticised about this, and the article says that critics said, this, in their opinion, it came off as a rape, as if that it wasn't intended to be.
Right.
The novelist calls it out for what it is. So
Okay.
I do want to, obviously we're not going to make jokes about horrible things, but it is important going forward. But so little trigger warning. Mm-hmm. And I have put in a trigger warning sound on the soundboard because I think that's sort of easier if we're talking about problematic things to just be able to hear that.
T-I-double-G-er.
Admittedly, it's more of a trigger warning, but
it's pretty close.
it was the best that I could do at
Okay.
such short notice. I added that just beforehand. So if you are sensitive,
T-I-double-G-er.
yeah. So Nick gets drunk. He nearly gets in a fight with an internal affairs guy. And Beth, remember Beth Triplehorn, the psychologist?
Yeah.
She enters and very kindly breaks up this fight that he's having with the internal affairs guy. Mm-hmm. And very kindly takes Nick home. And Nick responds by...
He was hard and rough, and a wave of fear washed through her body. She tried to push him away and felt his mean determination that she would submit. Don't, Please, Nick.
His answer was inarticulate but plain. He dug his hands down into her dress, and the cloth parted with a wrathful tearing. A hot hand slid up her cool thigh to her panties, his nails scrabbling at the filmy fabric. And I'm not going to read any more of that.
Nope.
And yeah, it is awful, and the author calls it out for what it is. Beth Garner had no deeply hidden fantasies of rape. She felt not a flicker of desire for Nick, but a sickening disgust and a building hatred. So very heavy. So
Cool.
it's like a show-stopping moment where you go, okay, there goes our fun little comedy show that we were doing. And it is quite a graphic scene. Sperm pumps out of him. The two of them talk for 2 pages. Then about Catherine Tremel. And then Beth tries to psychoanalyze him and talk about his job and stuff. So it's this horrible thing where she's clearly not into it. But then they continue to, like, sit and discuss together, and she helps him out with his problems and tries to, like, make him feel better about his life despite this thing happening.
Yeah, well, I'd say that that's probably fairly common.
So this
Particularly in these ones, like if it's somebody that you know.
Yeah, like what
how are you going to get out of that situation?
So I certainly, at this point, am going, well, what's the interpretation here? And you said before about that other scene, well, why is this here? What does this achieve? And Beth is going to feature in this a fair bit going forward. So it's a weird thing. Even weirder when you sort of see the film, and it's quite a rough, uncomfortable scene in the film where he sort of bends her over and pulls her down, and and afterwards she's like, that wasn't making love or whatever, that wasn't sex or something like that. She's sort of angry about it. But apparently, according to all the trivia articles, that was a rehearsal that appears in the film. They just got really into it in the rehearsal, and he used that footage. But they didn't realise that was the take. So...
Oh, wow. That's...
really uncomfortable bit of...
T-I-double-G-R.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's that, and then there's also, the 2 stories of the no underwear scene as well.
Yeah. Sounds like a... Yeah.
Maybe this is a pattern.
Yeah. And it's weird that those people that sort of try and argue that, all problems with women and equality and all that sort of stuff's been sorted out, it's fine. Like, why is everybody complaining? You look at, like, you don't have to go that far. Like, this is 1992, and you look at the sort of attitudes on display here, and I notice in so many books that I read, it's so fucking scary. And scary still that I probably read, not this book, but read a lot of novelizations as a kid and stuff, and it was just completely naturalized. Like, you don't think of it. And then when you hear people in the real world sort of making these, like, broad generalizations about men are like this, or women are like this, or this is like, you just think, fuck, like, you don't want to be on the wrong side of history, like, when people eventually start to go, well, hang on, like, yeah. So there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you think about fairy tales. Sleeping Beauty, Snow White are the only 2 I can think of at the moment, but they are literally lying around waiting to be woken up by somebody coming and kissing them without their knowledge, without their consent. And that's when they are saved. That's what little girls are taught and little boys are taught.
Yeah.
So, yep, great.
Fun times. So the next day, Nick, is he feeling remorse? Is he feeling bad? No, he goes to 7-Eleven, he picks up a few cups of coffee, and it's police business as usual.
Well, we should just say, like, that's really great that this author has actually said this explicitly. Like, it wasn't just alluded to.
Yeah, especially
so
when
that's cool.
When you think that... like, I don't know why people would think it was open to interpretation. So the fact that he's addressed it for... And he doesn't... you'll see as we continue. He doesn't let it just disappear either. But the problem is the script kind of does. Yeah. So, it does become difficult. How much do you like Nick now?
Nope.
No. So he tells Catherine for a day. He nearly gets into multiple traffic accidents. And he sees her go to a house which belongs to a mysterious... Hazel Dobkins. So remember that. That's going to be important later.
4 women.
Yep. This is an old lady, though, so...
so she doesn't count?
No. Maidens, crones. And Nick runs the name through the computer.
Hazel Dobkins looked like your typical cat-loving, pie-baking grandmother.
See? Women are very, very easy to categorise. They fall into very broad groups.
She sounds like my kind of lady.
So Gus and Nick jack off the computer,
Nope.
which is a phrase I'm not particularly familiar with. And
I'm glad that one didn't stick.
and finds out, come on, let's go to the local library and jack off the computer for a bit. They find out about a cold case murder of an academic counsellor to a young Catherine. And they also realise that Hazel Dobkins, this lovely pie-baking grandmother, carved up her husband and children for absolutely no reason one day.
Oh, okay.
So, is this all linked? Like, why does murder and death follow Catherine around?
Yeah.
So, Nick goes back to Catherine at her request, and she wants to use him as the model for the detective in her new book. And maybe the model on the cover as well, I don't know.
So she's not really being vague about this.
No.
It's kind of like, so I'm going to murder you. Are you cool with that? I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Well,
You want to be my murder victim?
to drive this point home, she uses an ice pick in front of him. And he says, "You got something against ice? I love rough edges." She was giving the ice a real working over, splintering it into fragments. She raised her arm and plunged it over and over again into the block, putting force behind each blow. So yeah, this seems fine.
That's totally normal. That's how I deal with ice. Yeah.
Nothing to worry about here. The two banter about Nick being a total cokehead and a murderer. And then Roxy shows up. Remember Roxy?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Catherine Trammell broke free of Nick. "Hiya, hun," she said brightly, like a housewife welcoming hubby home from the office. She went to Roxy and kissed her lightly on the lips. It could have been simply a chic Eurotrash style greeting. It could have meant more.
So yes, Catherine is bisexual. So her and Roxy have also got a little thing going on.
All right.
And apparently they wanted Nick Curran initially to be bisexual as well.
Oh, yeah.
And there is an opportunity later on, but Michael Douglas refused.
There's always an opportunity.
Yeah.
Wink.
Wink.
But
I think
Michael
you
Douglas
suggested that a few times when we did Serenity.
That doesn't sound like me.
And also, Michael Douglas refused to go full frontal. That was his other request.
Okay.
Wasn't going to uncross his legs
Right.
for the guy on his knees with the GoPro. So now Nick is pissed that Catherine knows too much about him. Like, how does she know about his, little coke rampage? So she must have accessed his file. So somebody has given her his personal file. So guess who he takes his anger out on?
Curran grabbed the phone out of Beth Garner's hand and slammed it down in the cradle. He leaned over her desk until his face was close to hers. She remembered their last meeting and shrank from him in dread. What? Gross.
This is adding insult to injury.
Yep.
So
now she has to work with this guy as well?
Yeah,
Oh,
and he
this is
comes in
horrible.
and just bullies her the whole time.
Fantastic.
Turns out
90s.
the internal affairs guy, remember the one he was fighting with before?
Yeah.
He gave Catherine the file. So our noble hero Nick tries to kill him.
Okay. Nick didn't care. His clutch tightened. He was blind to everything except the florid face in front of him, and felt the smooth and calming desire to kill flood through him. The room, the other men in it were far away. All that mattered to Nick was hatred.
This Nick. I told you he was a shitbag.
Man, he's not even pretending that
There's
this
no
is okay.
hero's journey here.
No.
Nick goes home and broods, but he just can't stop thinking about Catherine. This is romantic.
He could see himself making love to her, passionately, tenderly. He could see himself killing her, cold-heartedly, blowing her away with his 38. He could see himself doing both. Oh my god!
But in which order is the question. Yeah.
No, this is horrible.
You like Nick early. You didn't like Nick early on.
Oh.
I told you, he's the most, repulsive character ever.
Sounds like the author guy didn't like him much either.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Beth comes around to talk to him for another therapist, the rapist session.
Oh.
T-I-double-G-R.
And he continues to abuse her, this time emotionally.
Maybe you'll be able to get off once in a while, before the next guy dies of boredom. Beth flinched as if she'd been slapped. His venomous, vile words hung in the air between them for a moment. Then they fell like gasoline on a fire.
Nick Curran, everybody.
Oh, what a top asshole. God.
You can feel all the fun getting sucked out of this podcast.
He's gonna die, right? He's gonna die.
No, he's gonna get like a trophy.
He gets a medal.
Remember the award ceremony at the at the end of Star Wars? Now imagine Beth Garner instead of Princess Leia.
Oh man, this is horrible and so like real. Oh.
All right.
Okay.
So,
and it's so hot in this room as well.
So she's angry, so she attacks him. But then she apologizes to him, and then she explains that she gave away the file in order to protect him. And he is the one that is angry at her. Go, Beth. He picked up his Jack Daniels bottle, took a long swig. She looked beseechingly at him for a moment longer, but she knew in her heart that she had lost him, that betrayal was the one sin he would never forgive.
Dump him!
How backwards is this? Me am Bizarro Superman.
Oh. No, the horrible thing is that this isn't backwards. Like, this is classic abuse. This is way too real.
T-I-double-G-R.
Yes.
So,
Constant trigger warning throughout life.
the internal... I'm sorry, everyone, if this has made you miserable. I know they're like... this is one of those things, like, you see the book on the shelf, and you go, oh, Basic Instinct. I want to see how this guy wrote the leg crossing scene. I remember this film...
That's the one.
Yeah, I remember this film, like... vaguely from the 90s, and it's like we don't do many like adult movies, so this will be a fun trashy sex murder like violence thing, and then you start reading it, and the thing is as well, like reading these books is a shit in general. So if you've gotten half your notes done, you don't go, oh, this is like pretty miserable, I'm going to stop. Like, I think the fact that it is miserable, well, I think, there's value in doing it because you sort of realize, like, you don't think that these horrible things are hiding in mainstream movies. Like, apparently the script for this film was, like, bid on by everybody. Everybody wanted Basic Instinct, like, and wanted to make this thing. It was, like, supposedly brilliant. And then you read it and you go, oh, like... Yeah,
it's gross.
Yeah.
The world is terrible.
The world is
constantly terrible.
Yes.
In many ways.
All right. So the internal affairs guy turns up with a bullet to his head. So, of course, Nick is now the suspect. They took Nick to the same interrogation room they had used when questioning Catherine Trammell.
Ah.
And oddly, Nick does actually uncross his legs to reveal his scrotum to Newman from Seinfeld.
Well, that's good.
Works up quite the sweat. So when you think that Nick is finally maybe going to be locked away for his crimes, it's Beth.
His many crimes.
Beth turns up and is his alibi and protects him.
What are you doing, Beth? Oh.
Nick Curran sensed her inquiry. I just wanted to say thank you. He spoke quietly, his voice soft and gentle. It's the least I could do, Nick, considering how much of a mess I got you into with these reports.
No! You're making a mistake!
See what I mean, though, about, like, the author actually points out how vile and horrible this is, and also the sort of lingering effects of it on her emotionally, but the script doesn't. The script's her, like, oh, I've got to make amends to Nick. I've got to help Nick out. I'm so sorry I betrayed you, Nick. I've got to get your trust and get you to feel good about me. No, you raped her.
Maybe this was all meant sarcastically.
Oh, like those cops at the beginning.
It's the least I could do, considering how much of a mess I got you into with this. Like, she's not serious about this.
How much of a mess I got you into with those reports. Yeah, that makes everything better.
Maybe she's actually sassing him.
Anyway, let's leave Beth behind for a little bit, because Beth just makes us sad. Like, every time Beth turns up, I like...
really distressed.
Yeah. You're gonna feel worse for Beth later. Catherine goes around to Nick's house, and things start to get really sexy. This is some sexy, hot dialogue.
You don't have any Coke, do you? I love Coke with Jack Daniels.
There's a Pepsi in the fridge, said Nick.
Catherine Trammell smiled and shook her head slightly. It's just not the same thing, is it?
Don't you mean it's not the real thing? He moved in closer, their bodies almost touching. He could smell her perfume, feel her breath on his cheek. Oh my God. Say Pepsi again, Catherine.
Well, actually...
I wonder if that was cut together for an ad. An ad campaign that ran during this movie.
Why would you want to sell anything out of this?
Get a free Pepsi. She gets the bottle and opens it up between... I was going to say between her legs. I meant between like her thighs or her knees, but I realised that probably sounded bad in the context of this film.
T-I-double-G-R.
Anyway, Catherine later taunts him in a club by being a club sandwich.
She was teasing him, inserting herself close and warmly between her two cavorting partners.
Which are Roxy and this black bodybuilder.
They sandwiched her between their gorgeous bodies, grinding their hips against her.
See, I think this black bodybuilder was the chance for Michael Douglas to experiment, but wasn't into it. Finally, they get to business.
They were in the bedroom of her townhouse. Two naked bodies sprawled on the big brass bed, their heated lovemaking reflected in a dozen mirrors, glittering in mirrors on the wall and on the ceiling.
He was on top of her, pressing her down with his weight, his cock buried deep within, hips thrusting hard. Nick's tongue snaked across her shoulders to her neck, then down to the furrow between her breasts. Then his lips closed over her nipples, sucking it into his mouth. And if that made you feel ill, it does go on for about 2 pages.
No, that's too long.
It's like they're in the Joker's hideout, like the sort of funhouse mirror world.
All wobbly.
Oh, yes,
weird.
yeah.
That's why it took so long, because I kept getting distracted.
I kept giggling at, look how fat you look in that one, Nick. In the morning, a jealous Roxy confronts Nick.
Tell me something, Roxy, man to man. He turned and faced her. She didn't even bother to look down at his genitals.
Lesbians. Well, you know it's pretty bad when they won't even gaze down at Michael Douglas's tiny penis.
And he got it out for her and everything.
And he said man to man.
Man to
man.
man.
He had a go at her.
What a terrible person. I hope he dies.
He's a horrible guy, isn't he?
The worst.
Like, every opportunity to do something wrong, he will do something wrong.
Oh.
There's been no redemption at all for him.
No.
Roxy, and he's irredeemable at this point anyway. Like, what could you do to make you like Nick Curran? It's impossible.
No. Well, no. I don't think there is anything.
Roxy leaves.
Catherine was hovering in the grey area between sleep and wakefulness. She rubbed against him as he slipped back into the bed, stroking her body against his like a cat. Nicky, she murmured, like a child, nope. Like a child reassuring herself with her daddy's name. Nope.
How gross is this book?
It's awful.
Isn't this like the grossest book? I mean, we did that Terminator book, which had like a chapter about Sarah Connor's clitoris, but this book is just a revolting book in every sense of the word.
Yep. Wow. Okay.
Oh, it gets even worse. Here we go. Gus berates Nick for sleeping with Catherine. Nick's response in 1992, don't worry about it. Next time I'll use a rubber.
Oh, I did read about filming their sex scene. They had to wear some kind of protective thing because of the AIDS panic.
Yeah, which is weird because don't people always wear protective things? They always wear like modesty patches and like men have to put their things in little coin purses.
In coin purses?
Yeah, little bags with drawstrings. That was the thing that came out.
Drawstrings?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
That's what, what's-his-face that plays Mr. Grey said about shooting like sex scenes, that he'd have to put his nuts in a little bag and like you tighten the string. Okay. And then I heard on
that's quite erotic.
My Dad Wrote a Porno, another literary podcast, which is far more popular than this one. They were talking to Michael Sheen from Master of Sex, and he was talking about the difficulty of putting his testicles in the little bag.
Wow. I'm quite intrigued by this. What more do you know about testicles in a bag?
I don't know. I reckon it's a fledgling Etsy business.
Yes. Oh, imagine all of the embroidery you could do on that.
Ball bags for your ball bag.
Yeah.
They have to be flesh coloured, I think.
But you'd have to have a range of flesh colours.
Yeah, you would have to. That would be part of the job if you were making those to match, to a skin tone match for the person.
I'm going to quit my job tomorrow and I'm going to get into this.
He did say, I think, that, they would gradually slip out and that would be a problem.
See, I would have to innovate some
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
magical
yeah.
solution, like maybe elastic.
Well, Book was better invented
Staples.
Velcro.
Invented.
Maybe not Velcro. No, two thoughts ran together. I was going to say Book was better invented the grease-proof pocket. Maybe that technology would be useful here as well. And
I'll get you in as a consultant.
yeah, and if you could, like, get a slice of pizza in there as well. Just
Yeah, why
'cause I
wouldn't you?
imagine it would be very hungry work.
Yeah.
Because, like, it might be only a minute or two on screen.
But it's all angles and
Yeah,
hot lights
you would
and
be
whatever.
doing that all day, at least.
Yeah, you'd want a cheeky little slice.
I think so. Here's another type of woman that appears in this book. This is like the Trump campaign, where you're like really upset about one thing that happened, but then a new thing comes along a second later, and then you're upset about that, and you begin to forget the long string of things that you're upset by. So here's something else to be upset by. Gus stared at a fat woman at the counter. She was a tourist. That much was obvious from Fisherman's Wharf t-shirt. Gus looked like he was going to say something to her. Something, no doubt, pretty offensive. Nick guided him into a booth and sat him down.
Wow, Nick is the good guy here.
Well, that's true. Nick did something.
Nick is not the shittest person.
Nick
in this
was
scene.
like, I'm having a bad
Wow.
day. Let's not indulge in our normal activity of insulting fat strangers.
Oh, how terrible must Gus be?
Well,
Nick's
this is
the good one.
what a lot of people are fighting about at the moment. Like, the world's just too PC. What happened to when you saw someone in a Fisherman's Wharf t-shirt at a diner where you couldn't just
Just shoot them,
unlog? Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And the fat tourist was eating a hamburger, by the way, every single goddamn American book, it appears. All right. I got kind of sick of this shit at this point, as you can imagine, because this is like a crime thriller mystery. There's a lot of plot, and you don't want to read out 15 different excerpts
Yeah.
which have nothing
plot.
interesting about them, but just explain the plot. So, the Black Lotus, remember the evil Black Lotus in the blonde wig?
Yep, bad
It
car.
tries to run over Nick. He chases it. He finds it crashed, and Roxy is in the car
Yeah.
with a broken neck.
Oh.
Nick and...
Dead? Did she get better?
I think there's a bit later where maybe she is alive, and I had to go back and go, didn't she break her neck? And now I'm confused, so don't ask me that. That was the complete wrong question to ask when I'm just trying to skim over stuff at this point. Nick and Catherine bump uglies again. I saved you an excerpt from that.
Thank you.
Catherine tells the tale. Okay, now this is important. I know you're probably having trouble keeping all the details of this story together already, but Catherine tells the tale of Lisa Oberman. Now, Lisa,
Another woman.
Yes.
That's 5 women with names.
Well, don't be so sure of that.
Oh.
You'll find out. Now, Lisa Oberman was a girl that was very obsessed with Catherine in college and dyed her hair blonde and continually tried to imitate her. So Nick investigates Lisa Oberman and, after a lot of dead ends, discovers that...
The Beth Garner of today had dark brown hair, a lustrous chestnut colour. The Beth Garner of 10 years ago had blonde hair. Long golden tresses that Nick could see, even in a blurred license photograph, matched exactly the hair colour of Catherine Trammell.
Lisa Oberman is Beth Garner. They are the same person.
Bethception.
Yes.
Whoa.
So it wasn't another character.
Oh.
It was the same character. So talk about how small bloody Perth is.
Yeah.
And Wertho will weigh in on that.
And the other thing is, you're a Perth boy like myself.
But like this, San Francisco is very small.
Yeah.
Catherine's school friend that was obsessed with her was Beth Garner.
Wow. And now they're both involved with this shitty Nick guy.
And oh, look how close we are to the end. You've got to be excited by that. So, when confronted, Beth admits to sleeping with Catherine once.
I slept with her once, in school, she said briskly. As a psychologist, homosexuality was not abnormal behaviour to her, nothing to be ashamed of. As a heterosexual, though, she felt the need to justify her actions. Nope.
1992. So the plot goes completely off the rails in the last 20 or so pages. So instead of sifting through all those excerpts, I've got this new thing. This is a new segment on the show, and this
Okay.
is going to save me. It's called, I'm not going to always do it,
Yep.
but when the plot gets so fucking horrible that I would have to be reading excerpts forever, I'm going to do the Wikipedia save.
Okay.
So I'm going to read the synopsis of this last bit of the plot from Wikipedia. No, but this is brilliant because I don't even have to say it in my own words.
Yeah.
Like, just look at it. It's 2 paragraphs. Imagine me trying to find excerpts that explained all this.
Yeah.
Nick later meets his partner Gus, who had arranged to meet with Catherine's college roommate at an office building to find out what really went on between Catherine and Beth. As Nick waits in the car, Gus is stabbed to death with an ice pick.
Yay!
Nick runs into the building only to find Gus's legs protruding from the doors of the elevator. Now, that's a detail that happens in the book that she's writing about Nick.
Oh, right.
Beth, standing in the hallway, explains that she received a message to meet Gus. Nick suspects she murdered Gus, and when he believes she is reaching for a gun, he shoots her, only to find that Beth was only fingering an ornament on her keychain. A search of the scene and Beth's apartment turns up with the evidence needed to identify her as the killer. Beth had a blonde wig. Beth was the ice pick killer, right?
Okay.
So Beth the victim is now Beth the killer. So it's not enough that she's been horrible things happened to her, but now she's been shot and killed because she was the killer.
Wow.
Or
Okay.
was she?
Okay.
Because despite knowing Catherine's foreknowledge of Gus's death, that's something Beth could not have known about the elevated legs in the door.
Yeah.
She must actually have been the killer, and she set up Beth. And Nick doesn't tell anyone, and he returns to his apartment where Catherine meets him. So Beth, after all the other horrible things, was framed for a murder she didn't commit, and Nick shot her dead.
And then just didn't tell anybody.
And didn't tell anybody. I told you, Beth is like the saddest character in the world.
Oh my god, this is horrible.
When you're like listening to this podcast, if you listen to it again because it was so enjoyable and feel good, imagine sadness from inside out as Beth.
Oh man, this is all too real. Oh, what? Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Nick. You're
Yeah.
the... Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So this is the end. I'm going to read the ending. I'm going to skip the sex scene. This is the aftermath. Later, they lay quietly next to each other on the bed. Nick's gaze was fixed on the ceiling as smoke from his cigarette drifted slowly upward. Catherine was curled away from him, her face hidden. What do we do now, Nick? After a pause, he answered, We fuck like minks. We raise rugrats. It could have been the other way around. We live happily ever after. I hate rugrats, she said. Oh, even Chucky?
Aww.
We fuck like minks. We forget the rugrats. We live happily ever after. I meant, if he actually says that, I want that on my soundboard. Catherine slipped further over on her side, her hair tumbling over the edge of the bed, her hands dangling, touching the floor. Her face was suddenly expressionless. She turned and met his gaze directly. I love you, she whispered and kissed him passionately, urgently. She pushed him down on his back, sitting astride him, her breasts high and taut. She leaned down and kissed him again, her hair closing around their faces like a golden curtain. She kissed him deep, wet and hot. Nick pushed Catherine over onto her back and entered her with one smooth, strong motion. Entered her like a colouring competition. Nick thought only of that moment's pleasure, his body's need. He was completely blissfully aware of the thin, steel-handled ice pick which lay hidden under the bed. The end.
Oh.
So Nick didn't get killed, but he's probably going to get killed.
Definitely gonna get killed.
Maybe like in a few pages from now, if they existed and weren't playing. So there you go.
Wow.
Nick Curran,
How terrible.
shitbag.
So Beth was completely innocent of everything. She wasn't involved in it at all. She wasn't like in cahoots with Catherine.
No.
She was just, oh, that makes me so angry.
She was an innocent woman who was manipulated, assaulted, guilt-tripped afterwards, made to feel bad, jumped through a whole lot of hoops, saved Nick from a murder charge, and then he shot her.
Wow. Crikey.
And, of course, not only did he shoot her, everybody, her family, everyone thinks that she's a murderer.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So even everyone that she ever loved now thinks she's a total shitbag. Yeah. Remember the beginning when we were
Classic film.
talking about ghosts and Slimer and we were having so much fun, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were having such a great time. It was such a light, funny podcast. It was like, oh, this is, Lizzie's busy in the hizzy again. This is like doing an episode like Cars or something.
Yeah. I was not prepared for any of that.
You know, with 178 episodes, you need that light and shade.
Yeah.
You know? And,
This one, quite shade.
yeah, pretty dark.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But, look, get angry, you know? When characters are given shitty shrift
Shitty shrift, yeah.
by male writers and filmmakers and things, stand up and say something. And people do these days, which is good. Yay.
Wait, hang
Yeah. Please feel free, please, at any point, jump in, press these buttons. They're for everybody.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees!
That would have been an ending.
That is my ending.
She uncrosses her legs and all these bees swarm out and surround him. In fact, you know, we got to lighten the mood. I'm going to play one little sound clip.
Yep.
I was watching Bargain Hunt
Bargain Hunt?
the other night, and I quite like this.
I hear that you got friendly with a monkey at one point.
Lovely.
Crazy monkeys.
There we go. Cleansed. Crazy monkeys going apeshit. So I've got to ask you, Lizzie. Was the book better?
Oh boy. Well, not having seen the film or read the book, I feel I'm definitely qualified to make this assessment. I'm going to say the book was heaps better.
Can we choose
better?
Can we choose the GIF?
The GIF.
I'm going to choose the GIF. I think the GIF was better. I think, like, if you're really curious about this film, just watch the GIF and then move on with your life.
That's the only good bit of it.
Yeah. Well, like, it's the only famous bit. There's nothing else famous about this film, really.
What's the hamburger scene like? Do you remember? So if you can just watch a GIF of somebody eating a hamburger.
Yeah, I would watch
good.
that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I would watch, like, not even the real GIF. I would watch, like, someone's remix of the GIF where, like, there's a troll face or something, you know, at the moment. Yeah. I think that would be more fun.
Or bees.
Or bees, yeah.
Bees.
Someone would like to make that GIF?
Bees with troll faces.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Make it so, internet.
Now, look, oh, God, things get tougher and tougher. No Amazon reviews of note.
Really?
So I had to go to Goodreads.
Goodreads,
and
okay.
God,
the highbrow.
Yeah, you know what Goodreads is like. It's a cesspool of scum, villainy. It's like, fuck, they've got no rules there. It's crazy. So
just like Nick, no rules.
I know. I forgive.
No rules.
Forgive me for you know, making you listen to this as well. But you know, in for a penny, in for a pounding. In the interest of full disclosure, I am a huge fan of the film, the director, the two leads, the composer, and even the cinematographer. Basic Instinct was a screenplay I read endlessly when I was studying screenwriting. This neo-noir classic is number 10 on my all-time favourite film list. If Hitchcock were alive and at his peak in the early 90s, this is the kind of film he would have made.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot in that. Okay. I feel like if you are saying that you're a fan of the cinematographer on a website for books, maybe you're just bragging there.
You think this is a braggart?
I think it might be. Because have you ever thought about the cinematographer for any film ever?
I have, but I'm a nerd for
What
that
film?
stuff.
What film? You name the film.
I have
You name the cinematographer.
That's true. I don't know their names as much.
And you're making fun of this guy? This guy probably knows the name.
I've got a Pinterest board of perfect shots
Yeah?
from films. And I realise I like symmetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite cinematographer? Or do you just pick and choose?
No, you're right. I don't know the names of cinematographers.
Well, there's your homework.
I am going to learn some cinematographers. So I don't have enough homework already.
Wow, you're studying screenwriting. Well, good for you. Also, I kind of agree with that. If Hitchcock were alive, this does kind of feel like maybe a new Hitchcock. Because Hitchcock was not nice to his female characters.
No, he wasn't actually, was he? I know that from, he was really aggressive and really possessive as well.
And aren't there all of these stories about him being horrible to the actresses he had as well?
Yeah, and possessive of the
way?
actresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really controlling and she's mine, no one else talk to her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, this guy nailed it. Sorry I gave you a dumb voice.
Can you read the first line in a non-dumb voice?
In the interest of full disclosure, I am a huge fan of the film. The director, the lead, the composer, and even the cinematographer, whose name eludes me. Okay, here we go. Meh, I was looking for a good Halloween thriller for the season, but didn't really get a chill from this book at all. That should tell you a lot, because I'm easily freaked out.
That's also a weird brag.
Yeah.
Easily freaked out.
Yeah, well, we all know that about this person. And, yeah, I really want to be scared. I'll read Basic Instinct. That'll scare the pants out of me. It's scare the pants off Sharon Stone.
Like, I didn't know a lot about Basic Instinct, but I knew it wasn't a horror film.
Yeah. What, do you think a ghost was going to come out of there?
Well, I did at the beginning of this.
That's true, because, well, the Ghostbusters turned up for a little bit. Yeah, 2 more, short ones. I've never seen this movie. I've only heard of one scene in the movie that was supposedly super hot.
Yeah, that was my review.
Yeah, well, nailed it. And finally, I liked it, especially the sex bits. It was also good when Curran grabs some other cop around the throat and tries to choke him to death, then some other cop puts a gun to his head and makes him release his grip. But seriously, I read this book a very long time ago, so it's hard to remember it at all. It is exactly the same as the movie, but more intelligent.
But more intelligent. Wow.
That's probably true. At least, you know, says what it is. So there you go. Some great opinions from some wonderful people. Glad we took the time to investigate that. Good job, everybody.
We did it. We got through.
Good job, everybody involved in Basic Instinct.
I hear that you got friendly with a monkey at one point.
Yeah. Sure did.
Very long clip.
So, Lizzy, anything you want to talk about to cleanse the palate?
Debrief a little bit.
Yeah.
I think after such an intense book was better like that, I think it would be a good idea to say if you are in a situation where, like Beth, there is help available to people, and maybe we could put some links up on the Book Was Better page to help people find the help that they need if they're in that kind of situation.
Oh, that's so heavy. I feel really out of my league. And you gave me another job.
So that's the 2 action items out of this meeting.
Yeah. God, okay. And I'm typing minutes this whole time as well. Yeah, can we Google it?
And also, everybody else's homework.
Yes.
I really hate the word panties. It's the
I didn't like
worst
saying
word.
it. I agree.
I'm really glad that you had to say it. Maybe we can come up, between ourselves. We're a smart group of people.
Yeah.
Maybe we can come up with another name for them that is just as sexy.
Okay. And now, are you talking about something to substitute when reading passages from books, or just in general life?
Both, yeah.
Both, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any off the top of your head?
No. That's something I'd really want to prepare. And probably workshop.
Yeah.
And maybe get a focus group together.
We could call it the Anti-Panty Brigade.
Well, but then you're saying the word a lot at all the meetings and everything, and welcome to the first meeting of the Anti-Panty Brigade.
First item on the agenda, change the name.
I'm the chairman of the Anti-Panty Brigade. The APB.
All right, I didn't think this through.
Or Panties Bulletin.
Panties Bulletin.
It'll be our newsletter.
Panties Points it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I've just convinced myself that we have to keep using the word panties.
Well, yeah, I feel like you're using it a lot.
Maybe I secretly...
I feel like you're just towing the line with a taboo here.
I hear that you got friendly with a monkey at one point.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
No.
Get us out of this.
No, I don't. I think we just kind of leave it.
Moonwalk awkwardly back out of this situation.
Hope for better next week.
What is next week?
I believe it will be The Last Starfighter.
I don't know what that is, but sounds promising.
You don't know The Last Starfighter?
What's The Last Starfighter?
That's the 80s film about the arcade machine that was actually, like the guy gets a high score on it and then the aliens come down and go, that was a test. You're the guy that's going to lead our armada. And they take him up into space to fight a battle for them.
Oh, wow. I didn't know about that. Is that real? Can that happen?
1984.
I want that to happen to me.
That happens. I've talked about this before. Like, I played a lot of Burger Time as a kid on the Intellivision. And then what I didn't realise was that it was all a recruitment thing. And then I ended up spending 3 years at McDonald's.
That's why you got to choose the right game to play.
You do. You just never know. And you do have to be good at it.
See, I've been playing a lot of Words with Friends.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't want to have to do that forever.
What do you think you just did for the last hour and a half?
Oh!
Yeah. See? They do these recruitment things all the time, and it's very very sneaky.
I'm going to go rethink my life choices.
There you go. Well, look, if nothing else, like let's say I forgot to put up the links or anything else happened, let's all rethink our life choices.
Yes,
and just make positive life choices.
Yeah.
And do unto others, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Say that. I'm very, because, we talk about a lot of books.
Yep.
But if I was looking for proverbs, I would go to the book, the good book, the one good book in my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. So, turn the other cheek, all that stuff. Be friendly to monkeys. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Appreciate that. Go to fruitlesspursuits.com to find out exactly what we're doing. Make sure you listen to FPcast. We're also hoping that for our Patreon subscribers, there'll be some extra content a little bit more regularly now because of our current setup and the fact that I lent just into the old mic the other day so we can just do a Skype podcast about anything whenever, which is really cool. So thanks, everybody. You'll also find links to our Facebook page, iTunes, Patreon, all that bullshit. You're big kids. I trust you to be able to navigate all that yourself and figure it out without me spelling it out for you every fucking week. So thank you so much, Lizzy. You can choose the next one. How about that?
Excellent. Thank you. It's going to be another Garfield.
Yeah. Will Herbie Goes Bananas I've got?
Yeah.
That sounds scary,
though. That does. I'm apprehensive.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to think about this.
It's Herbie! He's going bananas!
No, it's too much. Can't handle it.
Shit. We'll find something. But thank you very much. Not an easy one, and I'm glad that I had a mature, responsible adult with me at the helm.
Oh, no, not the bees!
Pressing all my buttons.
Not the bees! Ah!
I'm very mature.
All right. Well, there's only one way out of this. You got to say the thing.
Catch you on the flip. That song, this outro, is a really long tail at the front. That's your fault. This is your ukulele play, and we are still recording. They can hear this. Now that you play the intro instead of putting it in later, I had to listen to the intro, and man, it is too tweet for me.
It's too tweet.